So I've been playing way too much Honkai Star Rail, and I think I'm ready to give my first impression about the game. I'm probably already 30 hours, 40 hours in, and yeah, the game is pretty damn good. I'm gonna talk about the different aspects of the game and what I feel about it. It's just gonna be a first impression because I think for live services game, you should wait a bit, maybe a month around that time, before you can give out a full review of the game. So you get a feel of how the events that are implemented turns out and stuff like that, how the gacha will feel after a while, of course the gameplay. That's the reason why I'm gonna just do a first impression and not a full review of the game. And let's start with the combat. The combat is more on the simple side of a turn-based RPG. You have your basic attack, a skill, which you need the skill point to use, and you generate skill points by using your basic attack. Outside of that, you also have a ult, and you can regenerate energy for your ult by different type of effects, but mostly attacking and getting attacked. As I said, the game combat is simple and good. I can see the combat system grow in the future. Even though the gameplay is simple, Hoyoverse managed to introduce some pretty unique mechanics that I personally never saw in turn-based combat, that being the ability to use your ultimate at any given moment. And I think that was a really cool mechanic. It makes the combat feel faster even though it's a turn-based. It definitely adds another layer of complexity. And also, I really like the way that you engage in battle with the enemies itself. Usually, when you encounter an enemy, the game would fade to black screen and fade back into the combat itself. But in Stereo, you can ambush the enemies by attacking them, giving you advantage. It's a small detail, but it makes you immediately more engaged with the battle. Moving on to the story. This first impression is gonna be spoiler free, so if you want to check out the game, don't worry, I'm not gonna talk about what happened in the story. The most I'm gonna talk about is the first 30 minutes of gameplay. I'm probably gonna compare it a lot to Genshin's story, because well, same company and there's also a lot of elements that they have in common. Starting with the hook. The hook in the Honkai Star Rail is way better than what we get in Genshin. The game doesn't really tell you much and just straight up throw you in the game. So the story begins with a spaceship that is getting attacked, and we are following Kafka, a mysterious woman that seems like to know everything that's going on, and she is probably up to no good. Later on, her companion Silverwolf join her, and they literally create us for some unknown purpose, and then they just leave. When the spaceship attack settled down, we join the Astral Express, which is basically a train going through space, and we will go to one planet to the other, solving their problems. I may have made the hook sound worse than it is, but trust me, it's pretty good, and the storylines afterwards are even better. I have finished all the main story quests that are available currently. It's not perfect, there are parts that it felt could have been faster, the pacing, especially in the second planet that we visit, where there was a part that felt like a filler part, but later on what we learn in doing that filler part becomes more relevant, so even the bad part of the story that I experienced came around and turned out to be quite good in retrospect. Also, I want to mention this Honkai Star Rail has way more comedic moments than Genshin. They probably knew a lot of Genshin players who play Star Rail, so it's a really nice contrast. So overall, I would say the story has been the highlight for me in this game, and I can't wait to see the next part of the story in the next update. And of course, the story wouldn't be that good if there wasn't great music. At this point, we all know Hoyoverse is just a music company that make games on the side. The music here enhances the story so much in this game. In Genshin, I would say at the start, the music is good, but you don't get really any earworm, you know? None of the music is stuck in your head for a long period of time. In this game, when you are ready to take your first step in your journey, they play this.
The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it.
And I think I know why the music here is so good. The music just gets the vibe, it sets the mood and it makes you feel exactly what you need to feel in that moment. I can definitely see this song at the end of our journey being played and me crying like a baby. I can definitely see that happen. And another one that has been stuck with me is probably my favorite track that I heard so far. It's gonna be a boss battle music, and I would actually advise you to skip this section if you want to go in completely blind. I think hearing it for the first time in game in that scenario was absolutely perfect.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. They will come with the flame. They will wake up the despondent crowd. Storming worlds.
This song is amazing and it's 10 times better the first time you hear it in the boss battle. Now the gacha. Of course, as a gacha game, I need to talk about that. At first I was really worried about the gacha in this game because I read some stuff and I heard that it was gonna be really similar to Genshin gacha, and it is. For how it works is basically identical. You get your PT at 90 and the soft PT after 70, and the banners work the same way. You got your character banner, the weapon banner, in this case light cone banner, and the standard banner. The only difference so far has been the beginner banner. They both have a discount of 2 pulls, but in Genshin you get a total of 20 pulls and no guarantee 5-star. In this case you get 50 pulls and a guarantee 5-star, which is really good. In a game like this, what unit you have matters way more. If you don't have specific units, you're gonna struggle way more than in Genshin. So it's good that they give you more discounted and also at the beginning of the game at least, the game give you way more resources to pull and a lot faster, which I think was a necessity for a game like this. Of course, gacha is gacha. If you hate it, it's okay, don't play this game. So that being said, for the gacha we will see. So far I think it's gonna be okay. Into the next topic, endgame content. So far, there are 2 types of endgame content: Simulated Universe and Forgotten Hole. Simulated Universe is a roguelike mode where you choose a path to follow, and depending on the path, you're gonna be more likely to receive certain buffs. I was initially worried that these buffs wouldn't feel too meaningful, but I was wrong. They impact the gameplay quite heavily, and knowing what buff to get can make or break a run. And it's quite hard, especially if you are underleveled, but it's still doable if you know what buff to get, which is pretty nice. I cleared the highest difficulty that I can access right now, so World 6, and I struggled a lot, but at the same time I had a lot of fun and can't wait to unlock the harder level of these worlds. The other type of endgame content, Forgotten Hole, for those of you that play Genshin, it basically is Spiral Abyss. You make your team, you go in and fight enemies. Initially, until stage 10, you just need 1 team, and after stage 10, you need 2 teams. Each stage have their own buffs that you can take advantage of. So basically identical to Genshin. The endgame in Star Rail, I would say it's okay for now, but they definitely need to introduce more levels for the already existing game modes and entirely new game modes. This game definitely can't be like Genshin, like having no endgame content update after more than 2 years. And I think that's it. If I wanted, I could probably ramble about the game for at least an hour, but I want to keep the video short. I'm definitely making more videos about Star Rail. So what do you guys think about the game? And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, consider subscribing, and as always, have a nice day.
Oh.